Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Maize Madman. Before we get started, hit that like and subscribe button for me. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're aware every time I upload a video, and be sure to comment down below, especially those score predictions for this one. You know what this is. It is that time for the breakdown and prediction for week 7. Michigan taking on the Indiana Hoosiers. We're gonna get into it, and of course,
I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully, but disrespectfully, it's disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans, poor little girl, man. And I'ma tell them why I'm mad. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, the other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset.
Let's get right into this. Indiana comes in with the record of 2-3. They're traveling to the Big House to play the juggernaut that is the Michigan Wolverines, number 2 in the entire country, 6-0, 3-0 in the conference. Now, Indiana's losses have come to ranked Ohio State, now ranked Louisville, and a very good and maybe on the precipice of being ranked Maryland team before this most recent loss to the other state. In those losses, they are averaging 11 points per game. 11. And they're giving up nearly 30 a game at 29 points per game in those losses. For context, Michigan is allowing a nationwide best 6.7 points per game. That's the best in the country. Nobody is giving up less points than Michigan per game at 6.7, while scoring, right, somewhere around 35 or 36 points per game themselves. So not only is Michigan holding teams to low margins, but they're also scoring. In fact, their scoring average is up to 37.3 now. So Michigan is scoring 30 more points per game than their opponents, while in their losses, at least, Indiana is giving up nearly 20 points per game more than they are scoring. The fact of the matter is that Indiana is going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat to beat Michigan in this game. Michigan is giving up the second less, they're second in terms of pass yards allowed in the conference. They are also second in terms of rush yards. Third in terms of rush yards allowed in the conference, as Nebraska and Penn State are the only two teams ahead of them in terms of rush yards per game in the conference. This is going to be such a comprehensive beatdown, as have been the previous 6 games, and most especially the last 2 games where Michigan has been in conference play. By the way, by no mistake at all, this is also when Jim Harbaugh returned from his suspension. Keep that in mind, all right? He actually returned the game before that, but against Rutgers. But on the road, after having a week of Harbaugh back, Michigan has beaten, on the road, by the way, Nebraska 45-7 and Minnesota 52-10. By the way, that 10 that Michigan gave up to Minnesota is a season high. That's a season high points allowed for the Wolverines. This is not going to be pretty, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a slaughter at best. All right. At its worst, this could be a situation where you have to cover the children's eyes because they are going to destroy the Hoosiers. No disrespect to the Hoosiers, respectfully. But disrespectfully, This is going to get disrespectful. I'm sorry to break it to you this way. This is just the way it is. Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy. I want to read something to you that I saw that I thought was very interesting. Clayton Safey actually texted this. Tweeted this. Texted. He tweeted this stat here that is very interesting about J.J. McCarthy, and in fact, it speaks to his usage or lack thereof, depending on how you want to view that. And Michigan's ability to basically dominate without having to go through the quarterback. Now, here's the thing. Right now, J.J. McCarthy leads all of college football in QBR. He is third amongst all college quarterbacks in terms of completion percentage, and I believe the narrative is that Michigan, because they are a run-first team, at least, they are a balanced team at this point, because this year they have been trying to throw the ball a little more, that somehow JJ is just a system guy or just a game manager. However, his QBR, as I explained, is the best in all of college football. When JJ throws the ball, he's super effective throwing the ball, except for, of course, that one game against Bowling Green where he still threw multiple touchdown passes. Right? He just so happened to throw a few interceptions. Outside of that, though, J.J. McCarthy, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely off the charts good. He's completing 70. I can't even. Do you understand how difficult it is to complete 60% of your passes? But this guy is completing 77, nearly 78. If you round up, 78% of his passes at an average per pass at 10.3 yards, 11 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, a rating of 188.5 and a QBR of 93.6. It's near perfect, and it's near perfect because JJ has played near perfect football to this point in the season. By the way, he's not afraid to tuck it and run. We saw him run for a touchdown against Minnesota. He can drop the shoulder, although you don't want to see him do that, of course. JJ, if you're listening, don't do that. You don't need to do that. You have the country's leading touchdown getter on the ground in your backfield in Blake Corum. 10 touchdowns, leads all of America in touchdowns and rushing touchdowns. You see where we're going here. Roman Wilson, the number one receiver for the Wolverines in both receptions, yards, and touchdowns. His 8 touchdowns is tied for third in the entire country. Before last week, he was first in the country in touchdown passes. Of course, last week, he failed to get into the end zone for the first time this season. But, can't always be perfect. This is going to be bad. Will Johnson, Michigan star cornerback, is rounding into shape. Keon Sabb, Michigan's backup safety, actually, sophomore safety, is looking like a future superstar. And if it wasn't for the veterans ahead of him in Rod Moore and Makari Page, would probably be a superstar at this point. He filled in nicely for Rod Moore when he was out. He spells both of those guys whenever they need a break very well. He accounts for himself very well. That's just in the secondary. Let's not even talk about that defensive line. Let's not talk about the interior of that defensive line. Mason Graham, in his first game back, you saw what he did. He lived in the opponent backfield. He caused all kinds of havoc for Minnesota. Kenneth Grant while Mason Graham was out, was doing the same sorts of things. Chris Jenkins on the edge, Braden McGregor on the edge, Josiah Stewart on the edge. Derek Moore hasn't even had a coming out party yet, but it's coming. We've seen him We've seen him get close to quarterbacks all year. It's just a matter of time. Then, this is the best linebacker play that Michigan has gotten collectively in a very long time. Best linebacker play that I've seen Michigan have since the days of Devin Bush, right? With a trio of guys, Mike Barrett, there is Ernest Hausman, of course, Junior Colston. These guys are making plays all over the field. It's nowhere to go. In the slot, Mike Sanders still is a superstar slot corner. He's a superstar nickel right now. It's nowhere to go. You can't hide on defense. And when your offense comes out on the field, that defense is suffocating. Jesse Minter, as I've said several times now, is calling jewels on the defensive side of the ball. I am sorry for Indiana. I am sorry for everyone on this Michigan schedule, quite frankly, especially until we get to the month of November. By the way, next week, don't even get me started. Poor Lobronim. Everything that you're going through, I suspect that there will be several MSU fans in Dr. Phil's office after next week. That's what I suspect. We'll see what happens. That being said, I guess it's time that I give you a final score. We've gone through, I didn't even get to go through all I wanted to go through, but this video is getting a little lengthy. By the way, like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you are thinking about this weekend's game. Be sure to drop your score predictions. We need those score predictions in the comment section. My score prediction for this game, 55-6 Michigan. Indiana just is going to struggle throwing the football, running the football. I'm struggling to give them 6. The thing is, it's just so hard to hold a team to nothing. So hard to think that they won't luck up and kick a field goal or two. 55-6, my final score prediction. Make sure to leave your score predictions in the comments section. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and until next time, stay angry, my friends. I'm upset.
Ladies and gentlemen, this might be our best season ever. Our ratings, they're about to go through the roof. All right, now I'm gonna calm down, son. I just don't get that all that Maize and that lock and all that puff. I just don't get it, son, for real. Just calm down.